Hi guys, so this is going to be a very hopefully interactive presentation about slope, which is the same as gradient. In the US, people tend to say slope, and in the UK, people call it the gradient. What I would like you to do right now, if you haven't got your notebook at hand, please pause the video and get your notebook to write the title into your book. The title is going to be Slope or Gradient. As we learn about slope or gradients today, these are the objectives. I want every one of you by the end of this session to be able to draw a line on a grid with a given slope. And also, I want you to do the opposite. If there's a line given, I want you to be able to find the slope. In your book, I'd like you now to write some numbers that are equal to 15 over 12. And numbers that are equal to 15 over 12 you would find by simplifying the fraction or expanding the fraction. So making them numbers, the numerator and the denominator in your fraction bigger. After you've done that, I would like you to answer the question on the Google form. We're going to look at this figure or this diagram down below here. And you can see that there is three right-angled triangles here, ABC, CDE, and FGH, and they all have the hypotenuse on the same line. In this table, they're asking you for certain length of this triangle. I would like you to copy this into your book and fill out the blanks. One we're going to start doing together. Let's look at ABC, this triangle here. And its vertical side length, you can see, is 3. Horizontal one, AB, is 4. And therefore, vertical side over horizontal is 3 over 4. This short video simply gives you the answers to the last question. So the triangle CDE has a vertical side of 6, a horizontal side of 8, and therefore we have here 6 over 8. The small one, FGH, short side is 1.5, and the horizontal side is 2. Now what I want to point out here is I want you to look at those ratios. When you simplify this, you get 3 over 4. And when you expand this to get rid of the decimal, you also get 3 over 4. So what I want to point out here is that no matter which triangle you're looking at, which size and where the points are on the line, this ratio of rise over run or vertical to horizontal side is always the same. So what we just found here is the gradient. So we realized that if we have this ratio of rise, which is that vertical length here, over run, which is that horizontal length here, the ratio is always the same, no matter whether we take these 2 points on that line with this triangle or these 2 points on the line with this triangle here. So we now know that the gradient is equal to rise over run, or we could also say it is equal to vertical length over horizontal length. And I would like you to write this in your book, horizontal length. And in your book, I would like to see this whole part here. Gradient is equal to rise over run. The next task for you is to draw, first of all, 2 lines with a slope of 3 in your book. And think about what do you notice about those 2 lines. Your second task is to draw 2 lines with slope of 1/2, 1 over 2. And then think about what you notice about these 2 lines to answer the questions on the Google form. I'd like to show you how to draw a straight line with a gradient of 3. we know that the gradient is rise over run, and therefore we want to express 3 as a fraction, and that would be 3 over 1. One method of drawing this straight line would be using our slope triangle. So we would draw a triangle with one side being 1, that's the run, and the other side being 3, that's the rise. And then we connect our two ends to form a triangle and make it longer to form our straight line. That's the first method. The second method would simply be to count the steps. So I would start at any point and then count 1, 2, 3 rise and 1 run and connect those two dots to form a straight line. I want to show you how to draw a straight line with a gradient of 1/2. First method we're going to use again is that of the triangle. So that triangle has a side length of 2 in the horizontal and a side length of 1 in the vertical, and I need to connect those two to form a triangle, and that's my straight line with a gradient of 1/2. Second method, you start at any point and your numerator tells you that you need to rise 1, and your denominator tells you you need to run 1, 2. And then you connect those 2 points again to form a straight line with a gradient of 1/2. Just a couple of things I'd like to point out here. So if you have 2 straight lines, this one for example and this one, which both have the same gradient, that means that those 2 lines are parallel. Same is true for these two. These 2 lines both have a gradient of 1/2, so they're parallel. What you should also notice is that the bigger the gradient, the steeper is the graph. You can see that this graph is way steeper than the graph which has a line with a gradient of 1/2. You can also see that both lines are uphill because their gradient is positive.